After 60 minutes, 30 rounds, and one of the most closely contested trilogies in modern boxing, Katie Taylor completed the sweep. She outpointed Amanda Serrano in a more cerebral and cautious third fight to retain her undisputed junior welterweight crown.
Very, very happy with tonight's performance and just the amount of work that we put in over the last few months, myself and Ross. It was a grueling few months of preparation for these kind of fights, and I'm so glad I was able to showcase what I could do tonight.
Taylor versus Serrano 3 wasn't just a fight, it was an event. Yes, the pre-fight pageantry saw them make the now obligatory pose atop the Empire State Building, but the inflatable effigies which greeted fans in New York City's Oculus were a bit of a surprise. Well, they might have been if they weren't staged by Jake Paul's most valuable promotions. This mega-bout between two all-time greats wasn't just about settling scores on the grandest stage of them all. The night was also a massive celebration of women's boxing, with 17 world titles on the line across an all-female card.
And to be headlining such a huge card, to be headlining an all-female card is an absolute privilege. It's an amazing situation, and these are the kind of nights that I actually dreamt of as a kid, to be in this position, headlining a big show like this, headlining a show full of these amazing women behind me. This is an absolute privilege to be in this position, and I just thank God that I'm here, and I'm 2 days away from making history again.
This rivalry started back in 2022 when they became the first women to headline Madison Square Garden. Contest number 1 was a contender for 2022's Fight of the Year, and Taylor was awarded a split decision even though Serrano outlanded her 173 to 147 across 10 rounds.
Yeah, no, losing is never fun, but you only lose if you feel like you lost, and I didn't feel like I lost. My team told me I didn't lose. They're proud of me, so I'm okay. Like Jake Paul says, you turn that L into a W, and that's what we're gonna do come Friday night.
But you did lose a fight. You did lose.
With such a close and entertaining fight, they announced the rematch almost immediately, and the hype followed, and then some. As the co-main event to Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, the rematch was the most watched women's sporting event in history. And once again, they went 10 brutal rounds without a knockdown. But this time, the volume was off the charts. Serrano nearly doubled her output, outlanding Taylor 324 to 217, landing more jabs and power punches, and outlanding Taylor in 9 of the 10 rounds. But when it went to the judges, it was even more contentious than their first outing.
What an epic encounter!
All 3 scored it for Taylor, and the result was one of the most controversial in women's boxing history. Serrano voiced her displeasure about the scorecards at every possible chance, but it cemented their trilogy as one of the sport's biggest ever.
Yeah, I mean, I have my own opinion about the stuff that Amanda has been saying on our team, but the fact is I am 2-0 against her, and opinions are opinions, but facts are facts, and you can't get away from those facts. Yeah, I guess I'm just sick of the complaining and whining from your team.
You know, she's been saying it, and obviously she's up to, why take this fight again? Why give me that chance to beat you again? Why give me the opportunity? You saying that you don't care what people are saying or how you feel, so why are you taking this fight?
I'm taking the fight again because I love the challenge of this. I want to take the best fights. It doesn't really matter to me that I'm 2-0. I just want to have the biggest challenges, the biggest fights in women's boxing. And after the last fight, this was still the biggest fight in women's boxing, so that's why I'm taking it. Why not take the challenge again? And I believe that I can't beat you again, and that's why I have taken the fight again.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see Friday.
We'll see.
Serrano moved up from featherweight and came in just a shade heavier than the junior welterweight target. Unlike the unified featherweight champ, Taylor, the reigning undisputed junior welterweight queen, hit the 135-pound limit looking shredded and as dialed in as ever.
Well, the official prediction is going to be another iconic night. We've put on 2 iconic fights already. Amanda's a fantastic champion. We have a lot of respect towards each other.
The size advantage was always going to be Taylor's, but Serrano, a 7-division world champion, had already pushed her to the brink twice. This time, she was determined to finally claim the win she believed was rightfully hers.
Listen, 3rd time is the charm, right? I see myself, my hand raised in victory. I trained 12 hard weeks for this fight, but you know, it's gonna be a great night, and I can't wait to share it with you guys.
Fight night at Madison Square Garden was another sold-out spectacle, but instead of chaos, this one was calculated. Less bombs, more brains, and the champs were ready to throw down for one final time. Maybe it was the weight of the moment, or maybe it was the memory of their last 2 wars, but both fighters were far more cautious in this bout. Gone was the relentless chaos, and in its place was a chess match with Taylor using check hooks and quick bursts to counter Serrano's tactical aggression.
Getting herself in a better position and getting back to the center of the ring.
This looks a lot more like the first couple of fights. Amanda Serrano.
Heading into the final round, Taylor was just behind on the punch stats. The champ needed a big finish, and she delivered, matching Serrano blow for blow until they both hit 70 each in total, well below their previous frenzies, but enough for the judges to make their decision.
And still, the undisputed super lightweight champion of the world,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody could deny that I won tonight's fight, so it is very, very satisfying. The other previous fights, some people had her winning, some people had me winning, so there was always that debate there. That's why there was a trilogy. At the end of the day, I was coming into this trilogy 2-0 against her. But there was a controversy in those decisions, so I feel very, very satisfied right now that it was lights out, and I feel like it was a very, very dominant performance.
Now that Taylor has closed this chapter, what's next? Possibly another trilogy, this time with Chantel Cameron, whom she's already gone 1-1 with in undisputed championship fights. It's clearly on Taylor's promoter Eddie Hearn's mind, but with Taylor's current form, they don't need to be in such a rush.
I think you earn the right to do whatever you want. You know, I think those fights with Chantel, great, Serrano, great. I think if it was a really tough fight tonight, then maybe we'd be sitting here and saying, well, is that the end of the road? But, you know, I feel like Katie could do another 20 or 30 rounds, so she'll decide if she's going to fight again. For me, I think she's got at least 11 or 12 left, to be honest with you. You will see.
In the co-main, Alycia Baumgardner retained her undisputed super featherweight crown with a win over previously unbeaten Jennifer Miranda. Following the win, Jake Paul pegged her as MVP's next star, so expect to see more of her soon. The Bomb was coming off a long layoff, and she had to shake off some ring rust, but it was Miranda who allowed the champ to bank enough early rounds to get it done. Shadasia Green won a controversial split decision victory over Savannah Marshall. While one judge gave it to Marshall by 2 rounds, Green won on the other 2 cards despite a point deduction for holding. After a 2-year break and a stint in the PFL, this wasn't the return Marshall imagined. She took control early, but a huge left hand from Green in round 5 flipped the momentum. By the final bell, they were battered and breathless, but it was Green who got the nod. Also on the card, Ellie Scotney outpointed Yamileth Mercado to become the unified super-bantamweight champion in just her 11th pro fight. And Cherneka Johnson stepped in for the pregnant Dina Torsland and stopped Shuretta Metcalf to win the undisputed bantamweight crown. Staying in New York for men's championship results, Shakur Stevenson cruised to a masterclass win over William Zepeda. He couldn't find the knockout, but it was a dominant display of elite boxing nonetheless. Zepeda threw a ton, almost 1,000 punches to Stevenson's sub-600. But Stevenson stood in the pocket and picked Zepeda apart with uppercuts, jabs, and slick combinations in what can only be described as a clinic. It was exactly the exciting exhibition of skill Shakur needed to lure in the biggest name in his division for a long elusive big payday. But that guy has just entered another sort of fight altogether. That's Gervonta Davis, who was arrested in Miami Beach on a misdemeanor battery charge stemming from an alleged domestic assault. According to police, Davis reportedly punched his ex-girlfriend in the back of the head and slapped her in the face during a Father's Day custody handoff. The incident report also cited around 10 past undocumented physical altercations. The star boxer has had numerous run-ins with the law over the years, including charges for domestic violence and multiple traffic offenses. Davis was arrested and released on $10,000 bond. He's scheduled to appear in court on July 29.
It's only the beginning for me, you know what I mean? I have a bright future.
Thanks for watching. And remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.